So this sprung to mind for me today because I see more and more on social media, on speaking to people who kind of are wanting to level up their life. They want to escape the rat race. They want to get out of the 9 to 5. They want freedom both financially and with their time. And having been someone who's achieved a level of that, I see patterns created, and I think a lot of it is to blame by social media. Like, social media is one of the things that is such a strong influence on expectations when it comes to these kinds of things. And I'm kind of lucky that I went through the years where it wasn't as popular to have a YouTube video and a social media post that everyone can do now, and everyone can create a script, grab attention, and sell their thing. And it creates this economy of feeling like you're the one who's left behind. You're the one who can't achieve what these other people can achieve. You can't have the time freedom, the money freedom, all the things that come along with a more exceptional life. So I'm making these YouTube videos for the young people, or, not so much young people, but just the younger version of myself who wanted all those things. And I make these videos to give you a bit of clarity on what's real and what's not. Like, I don't script any of these. I think of something that I see that is a trending situation, and I'm able to talk about it quite openly and just kind of riff on it, because I've been in that position before. I've overcome those things, and now I'm in a position where I feel as though I have good advice to offer. And I want to touch on the fact that it's a bit of a misnomer. There's not, it, like, you would be, I can understand the confusion inside of it when you're like, all right, I want to create this exceptional life where I don't have to do much. A business runs, I make money, and I can go and do more things with my life with less stress. And along with that, usually, and it was true for me, I wanted that freedom too. I wanted to not have to answer to a boss. I didn't want to be told what to do. I can't be told what to do. I had a completely inconsistent approach to being employed. I was never in a job for longer than 3 months, and I got fired because I was just late to like every shift, and I would say the wrong things, and I'd have no energy, and I just suck in a job. Like, I am unemployable. And I was like, well, I have to work this shit out. Otherwise, I'm not going to be able to live my life in a way that I want to. I'm going to be stuck in the conventional path, which I never wanted. And I get that feeling of like, I know that there's more out there for me, and I just don't know how to get it. And all these people seem to be winning, and I can't do it and they can. And you might have tried before. You might have tried a few things where you've done like maybe e-commerce, or you've tried to sell a product, or you've tried to create an online business by selling coaching, or you've tried to do something that has created an income where you feel as though you don't have to go back to a job. You want to build something where you can work from a laptop wherever you are. And a bit of my backstory of where I came from, it would have seemed like I went from 0 to 50K per month in the space of like 2 years, 1.5, 2 years. That would have seemed like a quick run. But the truth is, I only recently did that from about 29 to 31. That's when I really started to get going in my business. But nobody saw the years before that of me being in jobs, being fired, trying to start businesses, doing e-com, doing drop shipping, doing Amazon FBA, trying to sell stuff on social media, and then trying to be a business partner in a digital marketing business that was set up by business partners of mine that didn't work out for me. And the pain and the problems and I was broke all of my 20s. I never had money, and nobody saw those years. And they were my growth years. They were the years that taught me the most about what I needed to know about starting a business. And I never gave up on that pursuit. I almost did. Multiple times I wanted to. And everyone tells that same story, right? But this is it's more evidence to support the fact that you don't need to be special. You don't need to be special. You don't have to have this lavish looking lifestyle on social media or pretend to be somebody you're not. You can be who you are and get to where you want to go. And I can understand that feeling. And here's one of the problems that I'm seeing popping up, especially on social media. Nobody wants to work. Everyone wants to optimize for some sort of online business where they don't have to do anything. Because we're seeing messaging like go from 0 to 10K a month in 90 days or you get your money back. Go from 0 to 10K a month, guaranteed, or something or other. Earn $1 million a year in this space of time and you'll never have to work a day in your life. Like, this is the messaging we're receiving, and it's creating this conditioning for young people, and especially people who are sort of might be new to business or wanting to do this sort of thing, struggling, like they've got a business, but they're just like, how the hell am I supposed to make more money? Like, it creates this messaging that makes us all confused, but also hurt. We are sitting in this pain of like, why can everyone else do it and I can't? And the truth is that this is just, quite simply, it's easy to say and it's hard to do. And I was in the same position you were, trust me. Nobody wants to work though. The thing is, you can't avoid the work. And I think Alex Hormozi says this really well. He says something along the lines of, and I'm not quoting him here, but he says something along the lines of, the work can't be avoided, and you need to give it time. He said, you can guarantee your success if you just go at it for 10 years. And it's the truth. And I'm not saying that should take 10 years, because in a lot of cases it doesn't. But your effort, your obsession, and the way you sacrifice and devote your life will determine how successful you become in that thing. And nobody wants to work because they think that you can create a life of not doing anything to get everything. And there is a massive imbalance in universal laws of effort. You can't expect to have everything and get nothing. The process of creating a life of freedom is who you become, not this fake promise from someone on social media that anyone can say. You become the version of yourself you need to be to create that life. You don't deserve it if you don't do the work. And along that journey is pain. There needs to be, for you to change. You can't expect to be in a 9-to-5 or just starting a business or green and like a beginner mindset in a business that gives you a lifestyle that is outweighed to the norm. You can't expect that. And this is something I learned only by default, purely because I tried and failed so many times. I'm like, this will never work. But I was just like, I was almost like ignorant and stupid in the way of moving forward anyway. I was like, oh, I'll just try again. I'll just do it this way and see what happens. And it really is blindly one foot in front of the other as you work it out. And the obsession that you have with that process will determine where you go. You don't have to be the smartest. You don't have to be the hardest working. You don't have to have the best mindset. None of those things matter as much as your effort and your time in the game. When I say you don't have to be super smart, what I'm actually saying is you still need to be smart in the decisions that you make. And you don't have to be the best mindset in the world. I'm one of the laziest people I know by default, but I will work my ass off to ensure that I don't have to go and work a job. I will make sure that I know everything that I need to know about running my own business and keeping it going and keeping it moving forward and keeping it growing. And the questions I ask myself now is what's the next version of myself I need to become to be able to make sure that I can continue living that life? I got to a point in my business where I think I did a month where I did something like 74K or something like that. And that was a stupid amount of money. Like, to me, it was just like, where did that even come from? Like, what the fuck? Like, it almost didn't make sense to me. And I woke up and I on the first of every month, I do my finances and I see how much I spent. I see what came into my bank account. I see what went into my savings automated. I see all of the transactions that need to happen for me to manage my money. And I calculated I did 74K in revenue and something like, I think for that month it was like 20K in expenses, something like that, 20 something K, 22 or something like that. And I was like, where did that come from? That's fucked. I couldn't believe it. I was just like, this almost doesn't make sense to me. But the feeling that I had, because I was doing a couple hours work a day, I was, I'd been working hard previous to that, but I wasn't doing heaps. My team had most of it covered. And I emotionally didn't feel connected to that result. I was proud of myself. But I was like, why do I not feel so excited and elated by this? And the answer for me was the fact that I was in cruise control. I hit the cruise control button, and I thought that this place that I wanted to get to, this was earlier in the year, I think it was like around March, the place that I wanted to get to, I thought once I got there, happiness existed there, and it didn't. I had more fun trying to go from 0 to 10K a month when I was first starting my business, because the increase in the line of my own personal development was so much larger. I was becoming a better version of myself because I had to. And it took a lot of hard work. And I know people just say kind of hard work, like empty, like that's kind of like an empty word, like you got to work hard, but it's like I was just blindly following my intuition, and I was learning off others as I went and just doing my best. And I was just putting the pieces together as I went. There was no blueprint. I was like, here's some things you can try it and see how you go. And that's what I was doing. And I was just making mistakes along the way. I made a lot of mistakes, but I did it. I got there. 10K a month was like, it happened in the first 4 to 5 months that I got back on the horse and I started doing business again online. I own a digital marketing agency I just work from home. And where was I going with that? I was saying that the empty feeling about making the amount of money I made wasn't because I had stopped trying to become. I'd stopped trying to grow. I'd stopped trying to, increase my ability to get better. And that's when you realize in those moments, and I know that a lot of you can't really relate to that right now, but you realize in that moment that it's not about the destination, and it's so much more about who you become. And that is the most important part. So to sum this up, you can't avoid hard work, but don't, and you shouldn't want to, because that's the whole point of this. If it's easy, everyone would do it. But if it's also easy, it's not worth doing. Like, why would you care? You could just as easily go to a job, go to a 9 to 5, be surrounded by people who you get along with. You've got all the rules set out in front of you. You make your wage, you go home, no stress. Business ownership is different. It comes with a lot of perks, but it also comes with a lot of challenges. More challenges than you'll ever know. And so you need to be prepared to do it. Don't get me wrong, I wouldn't have it any other way for myself. But in saying that, like, there's benefits and drawbacks to all of it. I can't be employed because that's just not who I am. I have needed to be on the journey, absolutely. It was necessary, but that taught me everything I needed to know. And it's just blindly one foot in front of the other. So if you're listening to this, stop trying to avoid hard work. If that's what you're doing, it can't be done. It can't be. And if it does, if you do hit the jackpot and you're not working hard, I can almost guarantee you'll lose it, because you're not the version of yourself you need to be to keep it. That's what I got for you. I'll try not to draw it out too long. Any questions? Chuck them in the comments. That's it. Catch.